Hello, this is Jerry, and I've been given a request. A nice post was given to ask me to show how I make my bags. This is my steel shot bag. It's modeled after my lead shot bag. It's pretty simple, straightforward. I've done bags in the past with canvas, or not canvas necessarily, but using old martial arts skis, and you cut a section of the leg off in rectangular, and you close off one end either with tape or stitching it. Basically it's the same process as using the gallon size bag for a large bag, or in this case I'm going to use for this moment the same size I used for the small lead shot bag is sandwich bags. Sandwich bags are great because when you're done it gives you a good size. If you see here, it's just right for the whole palm of my hand. And I can vary the strike to wrap my fingers around to condition them also. Backhand fits perfectly. All my strikes can be done. So you do not need a large bag. I just prefer certain bags larger and thicker. To me, the most important part is the bag is firm and durable, because you're going to put a lot of pressure and destructive force into it. So it's real simple. Make sure you have your supplies. You need tape. If you can see, the color of my bag is white. It's actually this clear duct tape. It's not actually clear, but it's transparent in the sense that it says transparent duct tape. It's got the white cording in it and all that stuff. I choose this because this is stronger than the regular gray. I use regular gray duct tape for a lot of projects, and when I leave something outside I find that it weathers too easily and it breaks down too easily. The glue doesn't last as long, the material itself just degrades. I'm finding this transparent duct tape be very, very strong, and matter of fact, this is Scotch Tough duct tape, and it's a little pricey to me for tape. Full size roll is about like this, and it can cost you around $9–10 at the store. To me it's a little pricey, but it's because I'm cheap. But it's durable. If you look on the packaging before you take it off, look on the edges of your duct tape, and a lot of the products will have dots to show the strength of the material, and this is considered one of the stronger duct tapes out there. This is also an indoor-outdoor duct tape. It's designed to be weathered a bit, so that was my choice when I do my bags. So what you want to do is, it doesn't matter what material you're making your bag out of, whether it be sand, rice, wood chip, rock. The idea is to have a bag of some sort and to fill it up. Now I used a gallon size bag for this one here, and what I did was, you can see it's not exactly a full gallon size. I used this way first and filled the bag up to approximately the fill size, and then I cut this edge off and taped it down. Of course I had to hold it up like this to do it because I didn't want the BBs to fall out. Once I taped it down, I shifted the bag and folded down the end, which gave me the approximate size of the bag here. Then I taped it in place. Once you have that taped, you're pretty good and set to go. So I'm going to retape my lead shot bag. Now I don't suggest you play with lead shot. You have to be careful with lead shot. It's lead. Lead is not the healthiest thing for you, so keep that in mind. But this is something you can do when your bag gets older. You're going to have to redo it. It's just part of the process. There are no permanent fixes in this stuff. Something to keep in mind, like I said, you can use canvas or blue jeans. People might think, why blue jeans? Here's something to keep in mind. The material that blue jeans is made out of was originally used to make sails for ships. So it's pretty sturdy material. And actually my very first bags that I made, for the first 4 bags I made, I used just jeans. I didn't have extra geese or anything lying around, so I had to use what I had. Jean material is very tough as long as it's not you can buy the real thin jeans that look like they've already been worn for 12, 34 years. You don't need that material. You need a good strong jean. That, or like I said, an old gi. Now I'm not talking the flimsy gi. I use 12-ounce keys, which are pretty thick and robust. It's pretty good stuff. As you can see, I'm making sure I get all the pellets in there. Again, I'm not trying to touch the stuff with my hands. Last time I switched this bag over to this one here, oh man, it was terrible. So I have my bag here, and it's filled with little BBs. Now, I worry about re-strengthening as such. So what I want to do right now is do a little piece of tape. Doesn't even resemble a bag right now, but it will, I promise. Get you a little piece of tape and tape the end over so you don't have to worry about the BBs just directly falling out. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be perfect. What you're going to do with this in a minute is rebag it with another one. Okay? Okay, you get to this point where you have your bag. I have my lead shot in it. Again, the material can be anything, and I suggest sandwich bags for any size. I found this size bag. This is the empty husk. I found this size bag perfect for my needs. I can do all the surfaces of my hand perfectly well. It doesn't have to be a big fat bag. It's just kind of how I started. It's sort of stuck in my mind. I like a big, thick, fat bag. Again, if you want a bigger bag, use the gallon size ziplocks. They're perfect, and they give you a good size. It's about the same size you'll find when you use jeans and stuff. The one thing with the ziplock that I want to go through real quick is cut the zip part off. That's too bulky, and when you tape the edges down, you don't want this part sticking up because that could cause pain. So, back to where I am here. I've got this filled with lead shot. It's a heavy material, and I want to make sure it's doubly strong, so I'll just simply rebag it again using another ziplock, but this time taking the end that I taped toward the closed end of the bag. It just gives it extra strength. Make sure it's reinforced so that when you're striking, you have a little bit more durability, and the pellets themselves don't just start bursting out of the material. It's starting to look like a bag now. Okay, again with this, a little bit of tape. We're going to tape the bad boy down. A little piece. I really suggest you use this type of duct tape. It's really phenomenal. I've used other kinds, and I really prefer this myself. Alright, at this point, I can take the bag like this and show you. It's starting to look exactly like I want it to look. Alrighty. My concern when I strike a bag is that I don't want any weak parts coming loose. I don't want the BBs shooting out. So when I tape, I typically start taping the corners in, and I bring them in like this. You can see on this bag here, I start with my corners and do crossing across the bag, one layer, front and back, so that I hold the corners in place. And what I find that lets me do is it gives me a line also when I do my layers across the horizontal and the vertical. It allows me to line up with the edges, give them more durability, and then I finish it off with cross. So I'll show you here. We'll get little pieces of tape first. Alright. Take the corner, pull it up, square it up a bit. There we go. Do that for all four corners. You'll notice as you do it, the bag starts getting a little firmer, which is what you want. Each time you tape, you're going to cause the bag to get a little firmer. Now, I didn't show you with the old lead shot bag. With the old lead shot bag, even though it was tight when I made it, repetitive hitting over and over and over again causes it to become looser and softer. It's because you're beating it. And that's normal. That's what you should expect. Again, you just got to keep track of your bag and make sure that in time you redo it. Now, I have an odd shape here. It's kind of bizarre. It doesn't have to be perfect. The main thing is the main area is big enough for my hand to fit on. Now, the next step, as I said, is to do crisscrosses. So, because this part is broader, this part's narrower, I'm going to start with the narrow part and work on that first, because I don't have a lot to work with. If it was wider, then I would start out farther and just tape in successive pattern around it to hold it all in place. But I should only have to do what, one piece, maybe two, or one round, maybe two. So let's try that till this tape goes out, and then we'll get the other one. Alrighty. What I do is I start and I pull up and tuck underneath. Okay. Once you get to the end, flip the bag up and over carefully, because you don't want to reshape the bag too oddly. You want to have a good shape to the bag. Get up at the end, pull up, I'll cut that off. So the supplies you need are the bags, a knife or a pair of scissors, and your duct tape. And this project is pretty much easy to do by itself. Now, as you go, you'll notice there are spaces where the pellets may push out or the material may push out. Just make sure that when you go through the next phase that you hit those parts, those corners, and smooth them down. Again, I'm going to pull a bit and lay my tape down. There is no perfection in this process. It's just a process. Now, at this point, I'm not going to cut anything. I'm going to start wrapping the bag, because I want maximum strength here. And I tuck a little bit each time I do it, but I don't pull too hard. I don't want to make it into a giant ball. I want it to have this flatter type surface area. I don't want to overwhelm it with, being just a big fat ball of nothing. Okay, I've come here. I cut. Now, you got to look at the bag at this point and see if there's any exposed parts. The good thing about doing it this way is you can see the medium you're using. I can see the gray pellets, and I can see where the tape is gone, where the pellets aren't covered. So I need to make sure that I cover the corners. So that's what I'm going to do next, is crisscross. Remember, I did my original crisscross securing the corners to secure them and get the shape I need. Now I want to tape that direction to make sure that that area is strong. Okay, tuck, pull across, flip it, got to keep track of how many layers you're doing for each, because you want to try to keep it even and uniform as much as possible. It's just my guideline. There's so many different variations of how you can do this. It's really how you feel, what's comfortable for you, and what you like. Maybe you don't like this shape. Well, work around it. Work with what you have. After I'm done with this bag, I'll show you my large bag and just talk you through what I did there, what makes it look so uniquely different than these. Won't go through how to make that, but I made that with getting to the end here. Good thing I have extra tape. Now, what do you do if you have ugly parts sticking up? Take a knife, go up underneath, cut, and lay those corners down. Lay them on top of each other. It just makes it more appealing to look at without the stuff sticking up. It's not really going to change the strength of the bag or anything. And my thought is this: I like the process of making my own bags. Number one, I can't afford to go buy the professional stuff all the time. I can't afford to find an old pair of jeans or something, or some ziplock bags and some tape, and make my own bag. There I have a perfectly good bag. It's sturdy enough with the layer I have now. It should last a while. However, I mean, I could go through and use the tape and redo it again, which I probably would give it one more layer across this way and maybe one more this way. I think the corners are fine. I think they're going to be strong, and I think that I could bolster here and here. That'd be good. But for now, my purposes, this bag is essentially done. As you can see, it's real simple to do. It's not difficult at all. Okay, you can see the difference in the two bag styles. This is kind of the direction I'm going into now. I kind of like this. Like I said, you can make it different sizes. I can actually make these bags as large as this. If you look at the size of the plastic, that's how big that can be. So I can do it that big. But here's the history of this. This was actually squared and about the size you see, but it was flatter. And this is a sandbag. The way I originally did it was made out of ghee. Actually, this tape on top doesn't cover all the corners because canvas or ghee, it's pretty strong material, so I'm not worried about it getting soft and weakened by the blows over time. But the thing that I noticed when I was hitting the bag, I'd have the bag packed firm. We were told, pack the bag firmly. So I'd pack it firmly, but after hitting it over and over and over again, it would dip in and get soft. And the material was stretching. So what I wound up doing with this bag was I turned it over on the bottom. I did crisscross and tape layers this way, just did runs of tape so that the bottom would hold its form, and then I put tape around the edge. And I didn't mind if the top was mushroomed over, and I made sure it was tight. So at the time it was tight and it mushroomed over. But over time again it started getting soft. So what I did was I eventually, and in the wrapping process around the edges, I took all the corners, pulled them down, similar to how we did the bag here where we took the corner up and taped it down. Similarly here, but in this way, I wrapped it, and you can see here, right there, there's a flap there, there's a flap there. Can't see this one too well, but right here, there's a flap there. So I wrapped it around to round off the corners, but the reason I had to do that is because I was packing the bag tighter. As you hit these bags, they tend to get looser and looser and looser. The bag I just traded out and changed. This is lead shot. When I first made my bag for lead shot, it was very firm, solid, much like this. There's a little bit of squeeze, but not much. But after a while, hitting it, it's getting softer and softer, and I was starting to put a dip in it. What's happening is material is being pushed out and spread out. So keep that in mind. Whether you do it with canvas or jeans, it's a great bag. It'll last a long time too, but as you see, I reinforced the top with the clear tape. The reason I did that is because it was getting soft and I wanted a firm surface. Now when I hit this, it still dips in. So I still have the same action I had before, but the tape will help preserve the material itself. So there's an instructional video for you. I hope it helps. Any other questions, let me know. I did this. I think I covered it well enough. It's simple, so don't overthink it, and just enjoy it. Once you make your bag, happy hitting, because it's what the love of Iron Hand is about, is getting your stuff together and being part of that martial process. I think I mentioned it earlier. I like making my own bags. It's kind of like connecting with the ancients for me, because they couldn't go to Walmart and buy material. They had to make it on their own. So use what you got, think it through. The same concept of how I close the ends and stuff off with tape for this bag are the same you'd use for material. You can use tape to do it. The original way I was taught was to stitch the edges. That's fine, but I wound up taping everything anyway. So this is how I make a bag.